internet. And the young lady, she was talking about the Willie Lynch speech ain't real. And a lot of intellectuals and educated class. The Willie Lynch speech ain't real. Willie Lynch didn't exist and whatnot. You can't source the Willie Lynch speech. It's fictitious. And I say, people, and I may have shown you that video during the break. The authenticity of the Willie Lynch speech is irrelevant because the Willie Lynch speech is, as I see it, is about divide and conquer. Divide and conquer is the oldest trick in the book, and it works every time. It's so great. Divide and conquer, is so good. And if you haven't read the Willie Lynch speech, it's on the computer, and there's other information, and it's very, very. And just don't worry about the authenticity of speech. The reality of the speech is real, because the African Americans have really progressed in the past, 40 years, if you will. Up from slavery, going through segregation, and although we had all this, the AIDS and the gang banging and the inferior public schools, we survived. We have survived, but it's kind of funny. As things have gotten better, a lot of things have gotten worse, and the African American community is being disintegrated. We're going to be here. We've been here for 40 and 50 years. People of the descendants of African slaves. We're going to be here. We've always been here. We've been here for 40 and 50 years, longer than most people. Especially the Europeans. We've been here longer than the Europeans. But our families are being disintegrated. And the churches are not talking about it. It's debauchery. It's big time. You should go to these public schools with me. I should talk about that in my next segment. You should see what's going on. Our families being broken down. The family is the foundation of all civilization. And we will be here, but we will be irrelevant. We wouldn't matter. Nobody would hear your freaking cries because we wouldn't be a people. We just be people. Instead of a people, we would just be people. And who gives a damn about you as an individual? Okay, ask the Jews. The Jews stick together. African Americans are we're just so fragmented. Okay, but the Jews know what a Jew is, but what is an African American? There's so many different. Okay, let me go back to what I wanted to talk about. Okay, let me read this from the Willie Lynch speech, and hopefully I'll bring the graphic. If I have time, and I do, I'll bring the graphic up. From the Willie Lynch speech. For fear of the young male's life, she will psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong. This is the slave woman. The black slave woman would train her young man, would train him psychologically to be mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong. Now, the Willie Lynch is supposed to be about slavery, but it's still going on to this very day. The brothers are just buffed up, and physically they strong, but mentally the average brother is weak. He's weak. He weak, okay? And at times, I'm weak, okay? I ain't gonna lie to you, because that's just, if you understand slavery, if you were strong, you would be killed. And nowadays, if you're a strong man, you can be killed. You can be the homogenized, race-neutral Negro. But if you talk about race first, if you're African American, you talk about race first, the powers that be don't like that. And I'm gonna show you a video why later on, okay? If you've seen it before, I'm gonna show it again. Let me read on. Because she has been psychologically, because she has become psychologically independent. This is the black slave woman. Because she has become psychologically independent, she will train her female offspring to be psychologically independent. Okay. I should read on. It's just too good. Let me read on. This is Willie Lynch speaking. He said, "This is the perfect situation for sound sleep and economics. Before the breaking process, we had to be on alert, be alert, on guard. Alertly on guard at all times." Let me read that again. You see why I didn't go to college, y'all. Before the breaking process, we had to be alert at all times, or alertly at all times. Now we can sleep soundly for out of her frozen fear, his woman, the black woman, his woman stands guard for us. Think about that. So what's Willie Lynch is saying, that he's mentally broke down and brainwashed the female slave